Do you want to learn about Honkai lore? Because I have compiled like a bunch of videos just on like the lore of Honkai Star Rail. And I'm like, should we just like watch those videos while I have pizza and then I can go back to Destiny? I want to do that. Hold on. Alright. So, to y'all who don't know, Honkai Impact 3rd as well as Honkai Star Rail are games created by Hoyoverse. And so they have a bunch of like interconnected lore, and I am a whore for lore. Give me good fantasy magic lore. Gotta eat that shit up. So I found there's one channel called Homobams, and they have the entire story of Honkai Impact 3rd in 20 minutes. And on top of that, I also have a bunch of the like animated cutscenes from Honkai Impact 3rd. So I was like, oh, we can watch that. And then we can also watch Giguk's entire history of Honkai. Like entire story of Honkai Star Rail. Just such a banger video. But yeah, I think without further ado, we're just gonna hang out. We're gonna watch
Honkai
it.
Impact 3rd is one of the longest ongoing narratives created by Hoyoverse, with
Autism.
its lore spanning over 8 years worth of content. The question that most people have in the beginning is, what is the Honkai? Well, Honkai can actually mean 3 different things depending on the context used in the game. The most common use refers to the Honkai phenomena, a mysterious and
Guys, write
destructive
this down.
force
This will
that
be on the
plagues
test.
Earth in Honkai Impact 3rd. The Honkai usually
nice,
grows
Conker.
alongside technological advancements of civilizations, manifesting through plagues, natural disasters, and even monsters such as zombies and Honkai beasts. The second meaning refers to Honkai energy, which causes the Honkai phenomena. Honkai energy is extremely dangerous to humans due to the radiation it emits, but it powers almost everything in the story, from the battles it's used in combat to the mechs and other weapons. Lastly, the third meaning, it refers to the Cocoon of Finality, a higher dimensional being and the main perpetrator of the Honkai phenomena. Previous era, a highly advanced period from 50,000 years ago. The Cocoon of Finality trapped Earth in a 50,000 year loop where every time the Earth is destroyed, it gets reset. The previous era is the previous cycle, and many technologies from that time were preserved or reproduced in the current era. Valkyries are a group of female warriors enhanced by a genetic imprint known as stigmata, and they are the main force tasked with fighting the Honkai.
Yo. And also, just as an extra bonus, Conker, they're all lesbians. All of them are lesbians. Yeah.
There are 2 types of stigmata, natural, which awakens on its own in selected individual, and artificial, an attempt to recreate the stigmata technology in the current era, though it's far from perfect. The person responsible for copying the stigmata technology in the current era is Ado Apocalypse, the overseer of Schicksal, the main organization on Earth tasked with fighting the Honkai. Other notable organizations include Anti-Entropy, which used to be part of Schicksal but broke away due to disagreements with Ado's methods. Instead of human warriors, Anti-Entropy uses mechs powered by Honkai energy. The sovereign of Anti-Entropy is none other than Welt Yang, the first Herrscher. The last notable organization is Word Serpent, which traces its roots back to the previous era. They use previous era technology, and their main goal is to enact Project Stigma, a frightening plan from the previous era meant to end the Honkai at the cost of humanity itself. The leader of Word Serpent is Kevin Kaslana, a warrior from the previous era who survived in the current one. Honkai gives birth to powerful entities called Herrschers, who can bend physical laws. Normally, Herrschers are under the influence of the Cocoon of Finality, as they are projections of its powers. However, due to the sacrifice of a certain Herrscher from the previous era, the Herrschers of the current era are no longer tied to the Cocoon's influence. Additionally, the birth of a Herrscher is always accompanied by the formation of a Herrscher core, which you can think of as a source of power for a Herrscher, allowing them to draw Honkai into physical world and bend the laws of nature. Some Herrscher cores are also referred to as gems, but note that they are the same thing.
Sorry, I don't know how to.
Chapter 1 begins with Kiana Kaslana, May
Story
Raiden,
time.
and Bronya Zajcik, three Valkyrie trainees sent to stop a rogue battleship powered by Honkai energy from destroying a city. After reaching the control room, they learn that the battleship was gifted to Kiana by an unknown party who also tasked her with gathering 4 keys, each corresponding to a Herschel gem left behind years ago during the second eruption when Sirin, the second Herschel, almost destroyed Earth. Suddenly, the microchip implanted in Bronya's brain is hacked by Cocolia, an anti-entropy agent, forcing her to attack Kiana and May. They manage to subdue her and they begin their journey to find the keys. Later, they find one of the keys, the Gem of Desire, in Shixal's Oceania branch, implanted in a young Valkyrie named Wendy. Due to the implant, Wendy lost her ability to walk and harbors deep
Wendy's nuts hit your face.
feeling of hatred towards the people who did this to her. This hatred leads her to become the 4th Herrscher who has authority over wind. They stop Wendy, but Bronya's microchip is hacked again by Cocolia, who kidnaps both Wendy and May. Also, I forgot to mention, May is actually the 3rd Herrscher who has authority over lightning. Kiana, Teresa and Himeko team up to save them. They rescue May, but Wendy is killed by Cocolia. Bronya falls into a coma after burning the microchip in her head. To find a way to save Bronya, Teresa enters Shixal's secret library to search for a cure. This library can create a virtual world of events that happened in the past. Kiana follows Teresa and ends up witnessing the events of the second eruption when her mother, Cecilia Shariak, died fighting the Herrscher of the Void. But everything turns out to be an illusion created by Sirin to break Kiana's spirit and take over her body. Fuhua, who was an undercover agent sent by Ado, kidnaps Kiana and brings her to Shixal HQ. In order to get Kiana back, Teresa decides to ally with Dr. Einstein and Tesla from Anti-Entropy.
That is one thing that I love about Honkai Impact 3rd is so all of the relic upgrades, they're just famous scientists names they have Dr. Einstein, Tesla,
At the same time, it is revealed that Ado's goal was to revive the
Only thing I remember from last time you went over Honkai lore was everybody dies. So that was happening in Amphorius. Maybe that happens here? I guess we'll just have to find out.
second Herrscher, and that Kiana was a genetically modified clone created to house Sirin's consciousness. The Senfreya group infiltrates Shixal HQ, but it's too late to stop Ado's plan. The Herrscher of the Void takes over Kiana's body and all.
Alright, I'm gonna pause right there and I'm gonna show you the absolute masterpiece of a cutscene that happens following this. Smash. Looks good. God, I want to smash the alien robot thing. As a message in the wind, when the world is in pieces at my feet, I'm in the storm. I absolutely love the music.
人類、存在そのものが間違っている。戦争、欺き、嫉妬、貪欲。人類のせいで私は全てを失った。でも今日私は全てを飲み込む。私が崩壊なのだ。
Hot smash, hot, hot. Literally grim. So yeah, so that happens.
Attempts to fight her prove futile. The Hersher even extracts the Gem of Conquest from Mei. Even Fu Hua, revolted by Ado's actions, turns on him, but Ado shoots her. Ado then reveals that his true plan is to have a Valkyrie sacrifice herself to stimulate Kiana's emotions, allowing her to regain control over her body and becoming a human who can use Hersher powers. Unfortunately, Ado's plan succeeds after Himeko, guided by Fu Hua's consciousness.
Before that spoiler, next cutscene. Kill me. I mean, choke me out. I mean, break my. Yum, yum. True. True. 来た。Smash! Smash! Oh!
What? 逃げられると思った
待ってたわよ。
Oh, they're all so hot. I'm gonna all of them.
力の神抗うのよ。この程度か。
あんたの攻撃は終わり。それなら私の番で文句ある。
死ね。
キアナ、あんたが目を覚ました時全てが変わっている。世界はもう美しくない。平凡な日常ももうない。でも諦めないで。
The animation is insane. It is so hot.
少佐少佐
少佐、
少佐姫子、私は最強のバルキリーになるの。
キアナ、顔を上げなさい。あんたは前に進むのよ。この不完全な物語にあんたの望む姿に変えなさい。生きなさい、キアナ。
I'm gonna fucking cry.
これで授業はおしまいよ。
Yeah, so Himiko dies. She's just dead and gone forever. Yeah. Back to the story.
Thus a powerful battlesuit from the previous era. This gives Himeko enough power to fight the Her.
Why would you do this? Just suffer. Suffer like I have. If I had to play through this game and see all this shit, so must you.
Of the Void, but she ends up sacrificing herself to bring Kiana back. The events pick up 4 months later. Kiana is still missing and the Saint Freya group heads to Ark City to make contact with a broker named Great Serpent, who has information about Kiana's whereabouts.
Hey, carrots, you're gonna wake the baby. I gotta get to work.
This is important, sir. I think you're
By the time they arrive,
No.
Grey Serpent has already been killed by Rita, a Shixal agent sent by Ado. Afterward, we learn that Grey Serpent is still alive. In fact, he's not even a human but a mass-produced robot behind the World Serpent organization. Their goal is to free their leader, Kevin Kaslana, from the Sea of Quanta. To explain this briefly, the Sea of Quanta is a chaotic space with its own unique laws. The sea also contains the so-called bubble worlds, which, as the name suggests, are unstable worlds born from the sea. Kevin, the leader of World Serpent, was cast into the sea 1,500 years ago. We also learned that Tiang, the sovereign of Anti-Entropy,
A cursed game with lesbians and they don't kill off all the sexy lesbians. Conquer. Oh, I don't want to break your heart.
ended up in the Sea of
Not yet.
Quanta and remained there to ensure that Kevin wouldn't escape. The group splits into two. Teresa, Bronya and Einstein go to the Deep, an ancient city from the previous era, after responding to Kokolia's emergency request for
know,
help,
I'm
while May
asking
and
too
Tesla
much.
continue to search for Kiana. The next few chapters focus on Bronya. We learn about her past, how she was raised in an orphanage in Siberia by Kokolia together with Rosalia, Lilia and Sele. Unfortunately, after an experiment a few years back, Sele got trapped into the Sea of Quanta. Oh, and one important thing about Sele is that she has another personality born from her stigmata, which I'm gonna call Red Sele from now on. Kokolia's group is being attacked by Shixal forces since she possesses the Gem of Desire, but Kokolia threw the gem into the Sea of Quanta to force cooperation from Einstein and the rest. Oh, did I mention that the Deep has a way to access the Sea of Quanta? And things get even more complicated when it is revealed that Kokolia was secretly working with Grey Serpent, who promised to bring Sele back from the sea, and Bronya is forced to dive into the Sea of Quanta alone. There, she meets a young boy named Joachim, who makes her undergo several trials in different bubble worlds where she reunites with Sele. The young boy is later revealed to be Tiang, who crafted these trials to pass on his Hersher powers to Bronya, who becomes the new Hersher of Reason.
Alright, it's another cutscene time. Cutscene time!
ここが漁師の海。これが全部ブローニャ。でもどこにいるのですか、精霊。必ず見つけ出します。
Go save your girlfriend! Go save your girlfriend! Oh.
ブローニャお姉ちゃん。
Oh
to the heaven I dream. There's no exception in this library, for I know I will always go with you. So my wings will fly and to memory. I will try hard to soar to the heaven I dream. There's no exception in this library, for I know I will always go with you.
Yeah, no, literally, Bronya is just cyber anime girl, magical girl. She's crazy. But she misses her girlfriend.
会いに行きます。
Yeah. So she transforms. She's fucking cyber magical girl. And then
Meanwhile, Cele finds herself in a bubble world created from Kevin Caslana's memories, the leader of War Serpent and the ancestor of Kiana's family. Inside this bubble world, Cele witnesses how Kevin and his companions failed to stop the Herrscher corruption from destroying the last remaining human cities 50,000 years ago. Kevin retrieves the Gem of Desire and is finally able to leave the Sea of Quanta, defeating both Bronya and Well. Thankfully, everyone survives and Bronya and Cele are reunited after many years. In the
okay, also evil goopy hands. Smash. Weavers are some sadistic motherfuckers. Can't be letting anybody have a good time. Go save your girlfriend. Go save your girlfriend.
仕方ないわね Travel down very high Right away from the past So you heard how we love 行きましょう You let go when my last final back Let go when you can 一緒にお姉さんが次 Let it be back for all Burning high let go now into that お姉ちゃん
Literally.
お姉ちゃんブローニャお姉ちゃんセーレなのですかブローニャお姉ちゃんもう二度と離れ離れにはならないから
Are y'all beginning to understand why I fucking love this game so goddamn much? Oh God, Hoyoverse never fails to miss with like the music and the themes and the animation. It's insane. Right, back to the story. It's also just incredibly sad much of the time. Oh, I'm realizing that I do not have one
Following
of them pulled up.
chapters, we see how Kiana tries to cope
I'll
with
have to
the
pull up
events that
another
happened
video.
4 months ago. Overwhelmed by guilt, Kiana
Later.
attempts to end her own life, but she is stopped by Fuhua, who attach her consciousness to Kiana before being shot by Aro. With Fuhua's help, the Hersher of the Void
Why so sad? Because why not? Why not? Need some angst, you know? Just a little angst. This is one of those where it's like, I remember earlier I was like, I don't really consume that much like grim dark media. Meanwhile, everyone's like, Osiris, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Literally everything you play is like grim dark media.
and her
Oh
own
my
life,
lord.
but she is stopped by Fuhua, who attach her consciousness to Kiana before
Yeah.
being shot by Aro. With
Yes, I am.
Fuhua's help, the Hersher of the Void's consciousness is suppressed, and Kiana gains partial control over her Void powers. Meanwhile, Word Serpent tries to blow up an entire city using a bomb powered by Honkai energy. Kiana, using her Hersher powers, takes the bomb into the stratosphere, where it detonates and Kiana is hit with the Honkai energy from the explosion. As she falls, Kiana is caught by Durandal, the strongest Schicksal Valkyrie, who captures her and takes
Smash.
Kiana to a Schicksal base in Africa. Kiana is unable to escape Durandal until the base is attacked by Word Serpent. Using the Chaos as cover, Kiana escapes but is confronted by Kevin. Fuhua, who is revealed to be Kevin's old companion and a survivor from the previous era, stalls Kevin enough for Kiana to escape. Consumed by anger and regret, Kiana teleports to Nagazora, the city where she first met May and Bronya 3 years earlier. May and Tesla pick up a signal left by Kiana and arrive at Nagazora. They follow her and meet a homeless girl named Sora, who, along with other children, lives in the ruins of the city. The children are cared for by an individual they call Sensei, revealed to be Raven, an agent of Word Serpent who is there to kill
Raven.
Kiana. While they initially work together to fight Kiana, May and Raven eventually
love
fight.
Raven
After
so
witnessing
much.
May's determination, Raven relents and allows her to reunite with Kiana. The two are reunited once more, but this time it is revealed that the Hersher cores are poisoning Kiana and she only has 2 months left to live. After learning this harrowing truth, May desperately searches for a cure, and the only one who promises a solution is none other than Kevin Kaslana. Kevin tells May that she must become the Hersher of Thunder again, which will remove the Gem of Conquest from Kiana's body, giving them enough time to implement Project Stigma and save the world from Honkai. To do this, May agrees to join Word Serpent and help them. While all this happens, Atto and Kevin form an alliance. Atto opens up an imaginary singularity in Nagazora, and May absorbs the Honkai energy to become the Hersher of Thunder once more. After hearing what happened, Kiana tries to
It's cutscene time, baby. It's time for fucking cutscene. It's cutscene time.
行かせない。
息も絶え絶えのくせに。
私のこの拳で止める。
God, these games just cannot get it together. Oh, the delicious angst.
いつもキアナちゃんはいつもこう体がボロボロなのに無理やりに笑う。あなたは私をみんなを助けてくれた。なのに一人で全てを背負おうとする。自分の命をも犠牲にして。
レイ先輩、それは私の使命だから。
世界を救いたいなんてそんなの分かってる。
レイ先輩、
どう耐えればいいっていうの。
レイ先輩、ダメ。
私にとってこの世界なんかよりもキアナちゃんの方がずっと大事よ。
Oh, my phone died. Hold on.
あなたは私に手を差し伸べてくれた。その手を掴んだ時から私の運命は変わった。あなたは私の人生の中で一番大事な人。もしあなたを助けることが罪ならその罪は私が背負う。さようならキアナちゃん。
Yeah. The rest of this is got
To
another
stop
10
May
minutes,
from
and then I can bring the
leaving,
track
but
back.
after a heart-wrenching conversation, May departs with the word serpent. May, now a word serpent agent, is sent with Raven to a tropical island called Coral Island to subdue a newly formed Hersher, the Hersher of Ice. It turns out that
Look, both things can be true at once, Conquer. They can be lesbians, and they can be psychopathic murderers. You know? Why not?
that the Hersher of Ice is a former
¿Por qué no los dos?
Sal Valkyrie named Anna Sharia. They also meet Owl, another Word Serpent agent. Owl and Anna knew each other as Anna saved his life a few years prior. Owl betrays Raven and May to protect Anna, and they both end up combining into a super Hersher called the Hersher of Rhymestar. May and Durandal manage to defeat the monster and obtain both the Core of Ice and the core from the newly formed Hersher of Stars. Remember that a while ago Ado shot Fuhua in the head? Well, while all of this was happening, the Hersher of Sentience awoke in Fuhua's body. Fuhua is immortal, so after Ado shot her, he put her into a healing pod. But Fuhua transferred her consciousness before she was shot, so there was no one in her body to wake up, which turned out to be the perfect opportunity for the Honkai to take over. The Hersher of Sentience, who had Fuhua's memories when she woke up, killed one of Ado's clones, destroyed one of Word Serpent's bases, and fought Kevin, after which she gained possession of the feather that housed Fuhua's real consciousness. From there, the Hersher of Sentience and Fuhua visit Mount Taishuan, a place where Fuhua lived for many millennia. There, the Hersher of Sentience has a whole identity crisis until she realizes that she's not the real Fuhua. Meanwhile, Kiana and Bronya also visit the same place to look for some techniques left behind by Fuhua that could help them control their Hersher powers. After they arrive, they witness Fuhua's memories spanning her 50,000 years life, which turned out to be planned by the Hersher of Sentience to make them learn more about Fuhua. Then the Hersher of Sentience makes Kiana and Bronya decide who is the better Fuhua. Of course, Kiana and Bronya choose the Fuhua they know, and the Hersher of Sentience throws a temper tantrum, but they end up defeating her. After a while, the Hersher of Domination, who has the power to copy negative human emotions and create up to 1,000 puppets from them, is wreaking havoc around the world. The first part of this arc focuses on Cele and the dynamic between her and her counterpart. Cele is the
Wait, Conquer, to address your comment, I've only seen evidence of one. I'm sorry, did we miss when fucking May was like, the world means nothing without you?
slowly becoming more
And also, Cele and Bronya earlier?
mature,
Hello?
and the other Cele
Hello?
grows scared, thinking that Cele will no longer need her. The Hersher of Domination tries to exploit that fear, but both Celes manage to overcome it, and Cele gives the other Cele full control of the body for the first time. The latter part of the arc focuses on Kiana. After a failed attempt to stop the Hersher of Domination, Kiana gets dragged into the Theater of Domination, a separate dimension belonging to the Hersher. There, the Hersher of Domination wakes up the Hersher of the Void inside Kiana by showing Kiana proof that Himeko is indeed dead. We finally learn that Kiana and the Hersher of the Void personality are both personalities born from Sirin's wishes. Kiana represents her wish to live a normal life, and the Hersher of the Void is her wish for revenge. Kiana defeats the Hersher of the Void and gains full control over the Hersher powers. After a brief reunion and goodbye with Himeko's after image inside the Gem of Haste, Kiana defeats the Hersher of Domination and becomes the Hersher of Flame Saiyan, commanding both the powers of Void and Fire. The time has finally come for Ado
they
to put
died.
his 500 years long plan into motion and bring back his childhood friend and love of his life, Kalen Kaslana. Ado resigns as Schicksal Overseer and passes down the title to Teresa. He then lures the Senfreya group and Anti-Entropy to Colosten, where the old Schicksal HQ was located, using the Core of Domination as bait. When they arrive, Ado does his best to get on everyone's nerves, secretly preparing trials and obstacles for them to overcome and grow, while also furthering his plan. We finally learned that Durandal is the real Kiana, who was thought to be dead for 10 years. With her real identity revealed, Durandal teams up with Kiana to deal with Ado once and for all. Ado had amassed an infinite amount of imaginary energy by forming a connection with the imaginary tree, becoming a false god. However, he still couldn't realize his plan, but he used Kiana's hatred for him to make her use the power of the Hersher of the Void on him, which allowed his soul to free itself from the constraints of the tree. This enabled Ado to reach the wedge of the world, where he created a branching timeline in which Kalen never died 500 years ago, finally realizing his long-lasting wish at the cost of his life. After Ado's story concludes, it's time to cover Elysian Realm, which I'm not going to do in this video. Look, Elysian Realm is massive, so I'll link you some of my other videos where I do a full story recap for it. Please watch those to fully understand.
Yeah, no, there's a comment below that talks about Elysian Realm, so I'll read that out at the end. Because it's very important for Emphorius, basically. Because it's a super huge tie-in. Well, that is different. don't usually say that he died. True.
Kevin has finally implemented Project Stigma, which placed every person on Earth inside a giant collective dream. He also hijacked the authority of finality from the cocoon. Project Stigma aims to merge the consciousness of all humans into a giant dream, which in turn would give birth to physical manifestations of human ideas, which are basically living stigmata who can coexist with the Honkai. All the people who had a naturally awakened stigmata were transported to the moon, and all active Herschers were thrown into the Sea of Quanta. There, Mei and Kiana finally reunite, and with the help of some familiar faces, they manage to unlock the mental constraints on their authorities and escape from the Sea of Quanta and confront Kevin on the moon. Unfortunately, Kevin outmatches them in combat. This is when Mistalin, a Word Serpent agent behind Project Stigma, traps Kiana, Mei and Bronya inside a dream, intending to take control over the powers of the Hersher of Reason. As the story progresses, we learn that Mistalin's true goal was to help Bronya awaken as the Hersher of Truth, the complete form of the Hersher of Reason. Afterward, the group returns to Earth, only to find that most of it has already been consumed by Project Stigma. Anti-Entropy and Schicksal come up with a plan together to stop Kevin. Durandal, Fuhua, Teresa and Sela enter the giant dream to steer the wheel of the humans trapped there and make them want to wake up on their own. While there, they also steal a part of Kevin's authority. Mei reclaims the lost authority of Origin, which once belonged to Alicia, becoming the new Hersher of Origin. Kiana, after absorbing all Hersher authorities, is recognized by the cocoon as the true Hersher of Finality. Then, they battle Kevin one final time and defeat him, finally surpassing his ambition. Kiana gets the full authority of Finality and becomes the new goddess of Earth. Since Earth is still recovering from Project Stigma, Kiana remains on the moon to siphon all the Honkai energy there and find a way to convert Honkai energy into regular energy so that it won't threaten humanity in the future. And this is pretty much the story of Part 1 summarized, but we're not done yet. No. There's still Part 1.5, which is split into two big halves. So let's start with Cele's arc. Cele is lured into a bubble world that's actually two bubble worlds existing in the same space. Red Cele and Blue Cele are separated. As they search for each other, they meet Vita, a cheerful and bubbly girl who offers to serve as their guide. Later, we found out that Vita is from Venus and that 250 million years ago, Venus also fought the Cocoon of Finality but was destroyed. The two bubble worlds are on the brink of destruction, and the one behind this is being referred to as Sa, the abyss of the Sea of Quanta. Sa is a being that evolved to be similar to the Cocoon of Finality and is planning to destroy the two bubble worlds to harness the energy resulted from their destruction. To stop Sa, they need to create a new Hersher that is born in the Sea of Quanta and use its authority to cut the connection between Sa and the bubble worlds. Vita is revealed to be Sa's proxy, a clone of Sa that is going around the Sea of Quanta to harness energy. It is also revealed that Sa was the last survivor of Venus and gained some power from the Sea of Quanta. After millions of years of growing, Sa became a being similar to the Cocoon of Finality. After Cele becomes the Hersher of Rebirth, she manages to defeat Vita and cut off Sa's connection to the two bubble worlds. Vita then reveals that this was part of her plan to free herself from Sa's clutches and be free. After thanking Cele, Vita disappears. The second half happens on a dwarf planet at the edge of the solar system called Phosphorus. Fuhua is teleported there by a mysterious force. There, Fuhua meets 7 city representatives who all look like child versions of Vita. As Honkai beasts keep appearing on Phosphorus, Fuhua and the small Vitas begin investigating. Soon, Fuhua learns that Phosphorus was, in fact, created from the seeds carried by Grisio, one of her fellow flame chasers from the previous era, while implementing Project Arc. Project Arc was supposed to be an alternative to Project Stigma, and Grisio was tasked with finding a suitable planet without Honkai to rebuild humanity. Sa lured Grisio here and stole the genomes from the Ark to create life. Grisio fell into a deep slumber, but Fuhua wakes her up. We also learned that soon after Vita left the bubble world where she fought Cele, she was captured by Sa and imprisoned inside a small pocket space in the Sea of Quanta. With Fuhua's help, Vita escapes. The one who brought Fuhua here was Su, another flame chaser and the same person who threw Kevin into the Sea of Quanta 1500 years ago. After ascending to a higher plane, Su was able to observe our world and came up with a plan to stop Sa by bringing Fuhua here. Fuhua, Grisio, Vita, and Mistalin managed to push Sa back, and just just before Sa was about to flee,
Smash.
Tiana fires a beam of energy at it from the moon, essentially eradicating all its roots from the proper world. Inside the Sea of Quanta, Sa is extremely weakened, and Vita takes this opportunity to kill it and take over its authority. Now that she is completely free, Vita leaves Phosphorus, and her story will continue on Mars during part 2.
Oh. Yeah, no, basically, there was one. Where was it? Was it this one? Yeah, I think it was this comment. I want to read this out. These parts are intrinsically connected. I think that was a mistake to completely leave Elysian Realm out of this video. Short overview would suffice. Context: the Elysian Realm is a super computational system deep inside the world's open space built in the previous era, 50,000 years ago. It runs a simulation of 13 flame chasers. Like, wink, nudge, nudge. Their personality imprints warriors from the previous area who fought the Honkai. Kevin, Fuhad, Grayskull are the only surviving members. The idea behind the Elysian Realm is to transfer authority of origin to a person who is worthy. Before that came to pass, it was used as a training and trial ground for the World Serpent agents like Raven. May, now a World Serpent agent, comes to the Elysian Realm at the suggestion of Kevin, who, despite wanting to see the project coming through, wants to give Project Ember, the one Fuha was in charge of, a chance of fruition. May, driven by pursuit of knowledge in the previous era of the first Tertiary, gets to know the 13 flame chasers on a personal level. At the end of the story, it's revealed that Elysian, the second flame chaser, was in fact the first Tertiary. But unlike all the other Hershey's, she was independent from destructive influence of the Honkai. She was an aberration, an extremely unlikely anomaly. She loved humanity unconditionally and fought for its survival. Previous era lost the war against the Honkai. Humanity was for all intents and purposes destroyed. Before the surviving flame chasers could give battle to the last Tertiary, the Tertiary finality, they put multiple safeguards to ensure humanity's survival in the next samsara, namely Project Stigmata and Burnt Ark, spaceship entering the stars on which young Grayskull embarked. Alicia didn't place a safeguard too, but in her own way, she returned to Honkai Kaplan. Springer since over. God, I did not realize how long this is reading it out. Num 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 num. Oh, where was I? Mine with hacking the cocoon of finality. Authority with Honkai energy. We're replacing him with one they renowned as the will of Honkai. It's also transferred authority to Kevin. Basically, the Elysian Realm is kind of the exact same as Emborius as a simulation, and it's like, interesting. And then there was also a corruption until all the flame chaser sims were erased, incorporated in the Hersher, basically all the flame chasers had to get consumed, and then the one at the end had the authority to override everything. Blah. There we go.
Huh?
So now that we have that out of the way, we can finally learn about Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, no, this is a Gigak video, and it's so funny. It's so funny, and it does such a good job just like wrapping up the entirety of the Honkai lore. Yeah, no. So I want to watch it. I want to watch it with y'all.
Honkai Star Rail is a game from Hoyoverse and is one of their latest attempts to ensure I cry myself to sleep at night for not being able to collect my favorite fictional anime characters. You may know them from the worldwide sensation Genshin Impact on my credit rating, but this is not Genshin Impact 2 or Honkai Impact 4th. This is a completely standalone game about traveling across the universe, saving different worlds like Space Canada, Space China, and Space Birmingham, featuring some of the most canonically straight women you can find in gaming.
They're
This
so
is a
strange.
gacha
They're
game,
so
which is a
strange.
genre of game where the main goal is to pull for anime many characters you are most physically attracted to with an infinitesimally small chance of actually obtaining them. My personal strategy boils down to a simple flowchart, wherein if there is a new character I can respectfully refer to as Mummy, I will violently do everything in my power to try to acquire them, only to get jump scared at the sight of receiving a child.
Surprise, motherfucker!
I can assure you that the E5 Clara on my account was achieved totally against my will, and I am not trying to cosplay the protagonist from Black Bullet. But Gigak, what's the real gameplay? That is the real gameplay. And yet Star Rail has tacked on an entire bonus game on top of that, where you can gather a team of people, which in my case by complete coincidence all happen to be attractive women, traveling around the cosmos, taking it in turns, smacking each other with increasingly pretty animation, which is commonly referred to in the industry as turn-based combat. Where I get all the turns. As you can see here, my team I've named Weeaboo Mother's Day can do what I thought was a respectable amount of damage to get me through the story missions, and then you log into YouTube and find out there are people hitting enemies with a goddamn phone number.
That's a lot of damage!
Did I mention this video is sponsored by Honkai Star Rail? Because this video is sponsored by Honkai Star Rail. See, over the years, the Star Rail team have given me money to get addicted to their game. That I immediately pay back through in-game currency, thus creating a self-sustaining economy with more stability than the stock market in the past 5 months. But today, Hoyoverse have given me my most challenging task yet. Understanding all of Honkai Star Rail. See, Honkai Star Rail has one of the most expansive stories featuring intergalactic wars between cosmic gods, the entire plot of Starship Troopers with Kamen Rider, and the Lovecraftian nightmare creatures known as Twitch streamers that most people don't even know about, because in order to access this information it requires one feat that most gacha gamers are physically unable to do. Read. But as an ex-employee of the BBC with a master's in engineering, Hoyoverse can clearly see that my reading skills are unparalleled. The potentially cutthroat cohabitation
In the beginning.
and following the release of their biggest collaboration ever with Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works that's out right now, I thought I'd take a page out of my Fate days and break down the entire Honkai Star Rail universe for newbies and veterans, because sometimes when you're playing the game and hear a sentence like "Genius."
But see, why would I read when I could just watch the Gigak video? Wow! When I can have somebody else read and then tell it to me. Yay!
Yuan, one of the Arbiter Generals of the Cloud Knights and the Xianzhou Alliance on the Luofu, currently looking for disciples of Sanctus Medicus who are also trying to revive the Umbrella.
You might as well be speaking to me in wingdings, but today I'll explain everything like you have the IQ of March 7th, and by the end of this video you will see that Honkai Star Rail is shockingly uncomplicated. And I can assure you, this is the short version. God damn it, it's another child!
That's right. Steve Handjobs is back, bitches.
Let's
Hello
go.
guys, it's been a while. Welcome to my second TED Talk where we talk about the Honkai Star Rail universe. Now before we fully dive into the story, there are a few core concepts everyone needs to know so that you can fully understand everything that's going on. Yes, I'm talking to you, dialogue skipper who lets every fight run in autoplay. I've definitely never done that myself. First and foremost, we have paths. But what is a path? I'm walking a path right now. No. In Honkai Star Rail, paths are totally different. See, they are these universal philosophical concepts that anyone
Guys,
can
write that
believe
down.
in and
Write this
practice.
down.
That was a lot of big words for the average gacha player, so let me simplify it down for you. It's how you think, dummy. Let's say a person believes in preserving and protecting life. Well, they probably believe in the path of preservation. Get that, vegans? Oh, you hate conflict and think everyone should just get along? Well, harmony seems right up your alley. That's right. Paths are to weebs in the Star Rail universe what astrology is to white women. In-game, this translates to different gameplay mechanics. A preservation character, for example, probably means they have a lot of shielding and can tank a lot of damage. Abundance characters, well, there's your healers. And destruction characters, destroy. Shit, damn, this is getting really complicated. And in the universe, anyone who practices a certain belief of any path is called a path strider. They walk that lonely road, the only road that they have ever known. I think I just quoted Green Day. And in rare cases, any one being who explores the concept of their path in its entirety, embodies the beliefs, practices the philosophies as deeply as one can, they can ascend to become an Eon. Eons are essentially these godlike beings that completely embody one singular path. Let's take Nanook for example. He is the Eon for the path of destruction. What does that mean? He is a hater. He is a hater on a level that no other being has ever seen. He hates everyone, everything. His hatred transcends racism, sexism, because he hates everyone equally. His path represents the belief that the creation of the universe was a mistake, so he wants to destroy everything. Once again, proving that men would rather eradicate all life in the universe than go to therapy. Like, damn bro, you good? Can't you just like get a pint, build a log cabin, start a podcast like the rest of us? So my wife has actually just started playing Honkai Star Rail, and I have a quote from her about her interpretation of Nanook. He's just a little hottie with a body. Yes, okay, maybe he wants to destroy a universe or two, but he's just an edgy little bad boy. Shut the fuck up and look at those pecs. Look at that emo fringe. Let me nuzzle in that yellow chest, Gussie.
Based.
Now in the Star Rail universe, there are all these different factions that basically boil down to following one Eon. They see their philosophy and goes, you know what? We can make a religion out of that. Well, why don't they make a path for gooning? I bet I can be a follower for that path. Well, joke's on you, there is a path for that. It's called the Path of Propagation, and here is your Eon. Tazironth. And Eon's sole motivation is to propagate and spread themselves across the universe, which was born out of a feeling of intense loneliness. He started self-replicating so much that he started a disaster that threatened the entire universe. So much so that other Eons needed to step in and be like, bro, can you stop gooning for 5 seconds? Imagine gooning so hard you almost wipe out the entire universe in the process.
Can you stop
I wouldn't even be mad. I'd just be impressed. Honestly, knowing the Honkai Star Rail fan base, that's probably the path they'd follow.
I knew you would come.
Now below the Eons, you have the Emanators. Now these are people that have been acknowledged by the Eons themselves and have been given extra powerful abilities from them, which is actually a big fat fucking lie, because most of the Emanators that we've met so far have never even spoken to that bloody Eon. But don't worry about that. Because one thing you come to realize is that just because a specific faction follows a specific Eon, that doesn't necessarily mean the Eon actually fucks with them. Like, there are some factions who can be like, we follow the path of destruction, Nanook is our god. And Nanook can be like, who is this man's? Why does everyone keep saying this is my man's? This isn't my man's. In summary, for all you power scalers out there, you got Eons at the top, then below them you got the Emanators, then below them you got the Path Striders and factions that follow the Eons' beliefs. Then you multiply this by 18, because that's how many paths are currently in Honkai Star Rail. And that's where the lore of Honkai Star Rail can be a little daunting, because there are so many characters, so many titles, so many factions. But when you break it all down, it all comes down to which path does a particular character follow. Everyone and every faction has a different drive and goal based on the path they follow. And all of the conflict in Honkai Star Rail revolves around the opposing beliefs that each Path Strider has. Did you get all that? Good. We can finally start at the beginning of the story. Our story starts at the Herta space station, an amalgamation of a bunch of nerds who have a hard-on for the one and only Herta the goddamn genius. Philosophical hard-on, not an actual hard-on, I assume. Yes, this is one of the smartest individuals in the entire universe. A sassy lost child. Or her puppet. You know what, we'll get back to that. Helping her run the place, you have a girl about as privileged as Sea-Dog VA, your diversity hires, and a dignified woman whose hobbies include theatre, desserts, and breaking the Geneva Convention. At the station, they research all things that piques this little shithead's curiosity, and it's here that we get introduced to the first factions that will play a massive role in the entire narrative. First and foremost, you have the Nameless, which is an interesting name, because constantly in the game, people can be like, hey guys, I'm Himiko, I'm a Nameless, so what's your name? Himiko. Bruh. This faction follows the Eon of Trailblaze, Akivili, which is the path that we follow.
This is what
Akivili
probably looked like. This recreation identifies
Akivili. They're all about traveling the universe, going on a bunch of adventures, making a bunch of friends, the Luffy of the Honkai Star Rail universe. And this is our Going Merry. The train thing. The Astral Express. I knew that. See, unlike other Eons who are too good to hang out with pathetic humans, Akivili was that cool older uncle Eon who'd hang around with the kids and occasionally shoot some beers when nobody's watching. which I have no idea about. They were just a chill guy. So chill, in fact, that one day they mysteriously just fucked off. Nobody knows where they went. If they're alive, it was just the ultimate Irish goodbye. Now, at the opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Antimatter Legion. Remember our favorite edgelord Eon Nanook? Well, he was so edgy that he inspired other edgelords who don't want anything other than to see the universe burn. So they just go around fucking up other people's shit in the name of Nanook, being an overall vibe killer, and conveniently show up whenever there's a Stellaron. Wait, what is a Stellaron? Now, come here, a little closer. Listen up. Because Stellarons are massively important throughout the entire story of Honkai Star Rail. I don't know. Look, all we're told is that they're these weird, mysterious things that pop up every now and again and bring disaster wherever they appear. Nanook loves them, probably because he has a hard-on for disasters, and his other name is the Cancer of All Worlds. Which leads us right here to our wildcard faction, the Stellaron Hunters. Why are they called the Stellaron Hunters? Because they hunt Stellarons. Innit? Right now we don't know exactly.
Guys, to be so for real, the outfit that I'm wearing right now.
The Stellaron Hunters.
I wonder where it was inspired from. Whatever could I have sent Grim as inspiration for my outfit?
Hunters. Why are they called the Stellaron Hunters? Because they hunt Stellarons. Innit? Right now we don't exactly know why we're hunting Stellarons, but what we do know is that one of the characters is named Kafka, and it's probably the sole reason you first put money into this game. Don't lie to me!
So, here's what's up. I have never spent money in the Honkai Star Rail. However, the whole reason I started playing Honkai Star Rail was because of Kafka.
I see the date of your transaction history. What's this? I'm getting word from my producer that we actually have footage of Star Rail fans reacting to Kafka's introduction. Let's have a look. Jesus Christ, guys.
I knew you would.
And they actually kick off the events of this game because Herta, the goddamn genius Herta, thought it would be a great idea to leave a Stellaron hanging around somewhere on her station. And the game literally starts by Kafka breaking in and chest-fisting a Stellaron into an artificial body that awakens us, the Trailblazer. Yes, Kafka technically birthed us. That basically means that she is our mummy. Look, guys, I don't make the rules. That's just the way it is. I'm just conveying to you the message Hoyoverse clearly wants us all to hear. This is literally the first thing you see when you wake up. And as a newborn, our first words were... This is also where we get to meet the current Astral Express crew, which is the crew that will be staying with us throughout the entire journey. First, we have Zumi's Incarnate, March 7th, who is, not exactly the brightest girl. She's the type of girl who tried to solve the issue of racism by running, but that might be because she was found in this huge block of ice Avatar style and has no memories of the life she lived before. So she decided to name herself after the date they found her.
But Dad, I was born in September. Why am I named?
Shut up, drunk New Year's party January 1st. Then there's Dan Hung, the brooding quiet kid who seems to have a mysterious past. I have another quote from my wife about Dan Hung. I tried zooming in closely, but as you can see, he is not very hung. So that was a fucking lie, but okay. He ain't no bad boy Nanook.
Sydney.
Then of course you have the mum and dad of the Astral Express.
Literally you guys earlier being like, I tried zooming in, but I couldn't see anything. And you know what? For that, you have Graham to blame. That's the other model? Naruto.
Well, who was actually a character for Honkai Impact 3rd, but got lost there and woke up in the wrong game. And of course, this person, which is Himiko. But not this Himiko. This is a totally different Himiko from Honkai Impact 3rd, which is different from this Himiko, who is Himiko from Honkai Gakuen 2. And this is him. Miko from Genshin Impact, no relation. And this, of course, is Saber. The only Saber in the Honkai universe.
Saber!
So far. A little bit of
So
trivia.
far.
One of the Hoyoverse founders, Dewey's favorite character happens to be Misato from Evangelion. And his favorite character from every Honkai game just happens to be Himiko. Alright, so I see what you're putting down. So with the Stellaron stuck in us and no other memory of where we came from, what else is there to do but to join the Astral Express crew? Because if we choose not to, the game ends there. Our first stop is Jirilo 6, a snow world stuck in a permanent ice age called the Eternal Freeze, leaving most of its landmass uninhabited save for a few settlements. Yes, it's Space Canada. Without the maple syrup. Here you can find legally distinct Joseph Joestar, legally distinct Ilya and Bazaka, and of course Vila and Bronya, who have a bit of a history. See here, they become really good friends, but not too good of friends.
Yo, it's Celia and Bronya from Honkai Impact 3rd. They're here, they're queer, and they're gonna be lesbians
We're
again.
just friends who bicker and fight sometimes, but they are still friends. Good friends. But this is unlike other incarnations in the Honkai verse in different games, when they are also friends. They kiss. Kissy friends. But here, in Star Rail, they are just friends.
Just
Now
friends.
kiss. They're just friends! The main faction you're going to find on Jirilo 6 are the Architects, who are followers of the Eon of Preservation, Klipoth. And they're all about building walls and getting other planets to pay for it. They're led by the Supreme Guardian Kokolia, who is
Mother.
Her daughter is actually Bronya, and they lead the last settlement of humanity, Belobog. But Belobog has its own bog, and that's called the Underworld, which is under the world of Belobog, where they stick all the poor and stinky people. I'm guessing it's mostly stinky people. Why?
There's an image of Sidongi just popping up.
Society, innit? And the underworld is completely blocked off from the overworld because society, innit? Life is hard down here. It's dark and dirty, and people have to make ends meet by becoming miners and wandering into the great mines to find valuable resources. Somewhere, a Minecraft YouTuber is getting really excited.
Society in it.
The mines, I mean, not the miners. The main enemy types here you can find are vagrants. Vagrants. VA Grant?
We'll just steal off the miners.
Look, life is hard down there, okay? Who cares if we steal from a miner or two? You guys are murdering us by the millions! So to keep it from becoming a lawless underworld, a group called Wildfire run everything down here. And they're led by... Man, I don't know what system of government they have for electing leaders down here in Jirilo 6, but I think I might be onto something. Things are certainly not optimal for Space Canada, thanks to the Eternal Freeze, but life wasn't always like this. See, 1,000 years before the Eternal Freeze, Jirilo 6 was a prosperous place. Intergalactic civilizations start visiting Jirilo 6 hoping to get in contact with the natives. The architects set up shop, opened a few Starbucks, and everyone lived in harmony. Until the Stellaron attacked. People started getting shook. Some pieced the fuck out, fearing the calamity it could bring, and this bad bitch named Melissa Rand starts building walls and settlements, because of course, the Antimatter Legion show up and are like, guys, come on, let us in. We promise we're not going to destroy anything. Okay, that was a lie. Okay, we're joshing you. We're going to do a little bit of destroying. Starting a 30-year-long war, pushing humanity to its brink, and in desperation, Alyssa Rand hits up the Stellaron and is like, hey, Mr. Stellaron, so can you, like, help us get rid of the Antimatter Legion? You can use any means necessary. By any means necessary. Yep. You do realize I'm a Stellaron, right? You know, bringer of calamity, destruction, disaster. What's the worst that could happen?
It'll be fine.
Okay. So the Stellaron decides to turn the thermostat down a bit. The Antimatter Legion go, brrr, it's cold, I'm out of here. Congratulations, Alyssa, you've successfully repelled the Antimatter Legion. Yay! What's the catch? You've wiped out all other life and made this planet totally uninhabitable. Fuck. And thus begins the Eternal Freeze, until we show up. So what's the storyline of Jirilo 6? Bitch be wildin'. We rock up in our space train, knock over some trash cans, kick some Antimatter Legion ass, and we're all like, don't worry guys, we're here to save you from the Stellaron. To which Kokolia replies, oh, you here to save us? Is that what I heard? Go to jail. Because little do we know, the Celeron has actually been whispering in her ear, being like, psst, hey, wouldn't it be bants if you just, I don't know, destroyed the world and rebuild it anew? Oh my god. I love Code Geass. Boys, what are we saying? She a 10, but she wants to wipe out all life from the planet. So the entire storyline of this arc is just us trying to take down a mom who's gone a bit loop-de-loop. And it all comes down to one final showdown where everyone teams up. Nameless versus Stellaron. Mother versus daughter. Where we immediately get stabbed. Well guys, that's it. Game over. Pack it up. It's over.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate.
We get that couple of clip-offs and get a new preservation form and beat the fuck out of her with the power of rock music and this giant fucking robot bloody mega fisting her into the ground. God damn, this sequence was awesome. Wait a minute. Oh man. Bronya, having killed Cocolia with her own hands, is left in tears, knowing she did the right thing, but still processing the death of her own mum. Then March 7th comes in like, hey guys, wasn't that so fun? Let's go to the pub and grab a pint. The Celeron is sealed, Bronya becomes Supreme Guardian, the underworld is opened up, no more stinky people, and of course, Zila and Bronya continue being friends. Job done. Now we move on to it's China. It's just China in space. Humans, furries, and scalies live in unison on these ships, with each ship housing different races and cultures with names I can barely pronounce. Here you can find people like Space Kongming, Kindergarten Death Battles, Sassy Lost Child version 2, Daniel, the cooler Daniel, and Blade, the embodiment of Black Air Force energy, literally saving up centuries of hatred, going around looking for just one thing. A way to die. And he looks like this. And he calls himself Blade. Bro is canonically hundreds of years old and hasn't mentally matured past the age of 14. Now for this story, we're just focusing on the but it is just one of 6 ships, all together forming the Xianzhou Alliance, which can also be split up into different divisions run by different groups of people that sometimes have guilds within them, causing factions within factions within factions within factions within factions, meaning every character we meet here has a title about as long as your average light novel name, like they jack off every time Daenerys Targaryen introduces herself. It would take this entire video length just to break down every faction within this one ship. So we are going to focus on what is most important for the main conflict, and that revolves around the long life species that you can find on the ship, which are species that can live long lives, as opposed to the short life species, or baby men, which is what I imagine they're called by the long life species. First off, we have Foxians, who are fox-like beings with fox-like characteristics, and on the furry scale, they land about here. That's still good, right? I think that's still good. You know what? Let me check with my local furry expert. Yo! D, how does that look?
What the fuck? How would I know? Come on, D. You know why.
So don't worry, Facial Mage. You guys are still safe. It's not too late yet. Xenozone 0 players, please seek professional help. Then we got the Vidiharas, Vidimen. These are people with dragon-like characteristics who are functionally immortal. But instead of going through one long lifespan, they go through a cycle of rebirth, where after a certain age, they get reborn while their body gets repaired and lose all their memories, in a process the FBI calls Schrodinger's Lolly, where characters can canonically be both 13 and 1300 years old at the same time. And lastly, we got the Xianzhou natives, who bring the main beef to this all-you-can-eat buffet. Many years ago, the Xianzhou Alliance traveled the stars to search for immortality, where they just happened to run into the Aeon of Abundance, Yaoshi. Now Yaoshi, she's a giving Aeon, maybe a bit too giving, but don't worry about this part of the title. She sees everyone turn up asking for immortality, and she's like, you get immortality, and you get immortality, and you get immortality. What's this I'm holding in my hand? It's just, don't worry about it. Don't
worry.
So she plants this big ass tree called the Ambrosia Arbor that allows anyone who eats its fruits to become immortal. Yay for trees, guys! We love trees! But unfortunately for the Xianzhou natives, they get so much immortality and live for so long that eventually they fall into madness and the body mutates into this zombie tree-like thing that they call Mars. And so once everyone realizes that immortality isn't everything it's cracked up to be, they all start to turn on this all-giving Aeon of Abundance. And it's like, fuck you, fuck everything you stand for, fuck all your followers, and fuck your stupid little arms. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of feel bad for Yaoshi. Like, aside from this, there was also a time when the Foxians were going through a famine on their planet. So in desperation, they ask Yaoshi to give them some food. She plants so much food for them that eventually it spurs a population explosion that kills their ecosystem and destroys their planet. Like, when are people going to learn that her name is the Aeon of Abundance? Not the Aeon of, okay, just tell me when. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, yeah, you can stop now. That's enough slices! Because in response to the immortality epidemic, everyone on the who changes their path to the path of the hunt. Now, the path of the hunt is similar in philosophy to the path of destruction, but unlike Nanook, who is like, fuck everyone, the hunt is more like, fuck you, just you.
Just you.
Fuck you in particular. Like the Aeon of the Hunt, Lan, is the self-proclaimed sworn enemy of abundance and will go around endlessly eradicating any followers of Yaoshi. Bro's got more generational hatred than Dio does for the Joestar lineage, and poor Yaoshi is just in the corner sitting down going like, guys, I don't mean to victimize. But you literally did ask for it. So they commit a bit of casual deforestation, destroying this immortality granting trees because fuck trees, am I right? What the fuck have trees done? Supplying oxygen and immortality to people. Puh, I spit on you. So what's the Laofu storyline? It's this tree. And a Stellaron. Because of course it's a Stellaron.
Build a website you love.
Now.
With Wix.
Oh, it's been so long.
For your words.
We hear a rumor that there's a Stellaron on board from Kafka. And you know what happens when Kafka goes fetch? We go. And it seems like someone's gone and fucking done it by planting a Stellaron at the root of this tree, causing it to resurrect along with this deer tree thing. But who could have done such a thing? Turns out, not everyone agrees that immortality is a bad thing, so they all gather together in secrecy, forming this weird-ass group called the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus, who looked at the way everyone was hating on Yaoshi and was like, I know Yaoshi, yeah, she crazy, man. She fucking sucks. God, I hate her guts. Can't let guy know I secretly fuck with this. Little do we know that there's a real mastermind orchestrating everything from behind the scenes that's revealed to us at breakneck speed. Yep, it was a real plot twist. Someone got Thanos snapped out of existence. Alright, I'm gonna go watch some TikTok chiropractor videos now. You'll never be able to guess who it is this time, lads. That's right, the fucking Antimatter Legion are at it again. And this time is one of their head honchos, Fantilia, who is one of Nanook's emanators. And she takes the form of, god damn!
Smash.
Pretty sure Thanos had to clap for this one. Yes, this entire thing was just the Antimatter Legion trying to destroy the from within. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for Dan Heng, who is secretly a dragon person, because Dan Heng is actually the reincarnation of Dan Feng, the cooler Daniel. Not to be confused with Dan Sung or Dan Dung, who also has a history with Blade, because they used to be really good friends, but not too good of friends. But according to some of the lore you can find in some of the relic sets, they were what you call bosom friends. Hey, yo, what? But that's all in the past now, because Blade actually hates Dan Heng, because Dan Heng was previously Dan Feng, and Dan Feng committed a crime which caused Blade to be immortal. So Blade now hates Dan Feng, but he got reincarnated to Dan Heng, so they are no longer bosom friends, they are bosom enemies. Now kiss. They're just enemies, guys! So we get another team up. Dan Feng returns and parts the fucking waterway, Moses style. We take down the second mummy boss of this game so far, and this boss music is an absolute bop. That's it.
You are full.
Done. Alright, this video is getting a bit long, so what do we got next? Fuck my life. Welcome to Penacony, the land of festivities, where the game goes from just taking a few hours to complete all the story missions to a lot more. This world is the legally distinct Disneyland for people who look like this, bringing in the wealthiest and most privileged individuals from all around the universe thanks to its main attraction, the Dreamscape.
TikTok, our friends are awake and asleep. Welcome
Fuck me, is that Tiki Mouse? The dreamscape is like if Inception and The Matrix had one big incestuous baby. It's a lucid dream world you share with all the other attendees there where anything is possible. Get blackout drunk without having a hangover? Go for it. Oh, that's just fucking Tuesday at Spoons, innit? Gacha! In your gacha game. So spending your real-life money wasn't enough. Not even fall damage can kill you, which would be relevant if Star Rail actually had a jump button. Here we'll run into people like Dr. L plus Ratio, the real gacha man. My little sister. My little sister can't be this cute. And just another totally normal cute anime girl here. Nothing to see here, guys. Just another cute wiped out to your collection. And of course, season 20 of my favorite Hoyoverse anime. Can a girl-girl friendship survive? Now, kids. I need an adult. This is also where we get introduced to a plethora of new factions because they've invited everyone under the sun to attend. So I'm going to try and keep this as fast as possible. Starting things off with one of the biggest factions in the Honkai Star Rail universe. The IPC. The IPC is like if the IRS, Amazon, and the S&P 500 came together and made one big incestuous baby. And don't ask why I keep saying incestuous baby, it's not that deep. It is the mega corporation of mega corporations, controlling all business transactions from across the universe. Its mere concept is enough to give Jeff Bezos the biggest morning wood of his life. They supposedly follow our old friend Klipov, the Eon of Preservation, but the IPC believes, unlike the architects from Dorilo 6, that they need one thing and one thing only to help Klipov meet their goals. Money. And they've sent one of their representatives, Adventurine, to try and get some of those big fat Penacony profits, which is on brand because one of his attacks is literally beating the fuck out of you with money. He's not even rich. He's just reckless about spending his money. Honestly, I vibe with that. You have the Galaxy Rangers, which in this case comes in the form of Boot Hill, who is a space cowboy and is like playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with parental controls on.
Son of a nice lady.
There's Acheron, who pretends to be a Galaxy Ranger, but really her true identity is the Emanator of Nihility, which makes her pretty damn powerful. Now, Nihility is all about a state of nothingness or non-existence, so I don't know how she got the job, but I assume it went something along the lines of... You got the job. Wait, what? There's Black Swan. Now, her whole thing becomes a lot more relevant in the next world, so we'll come back to her. There's this one girl from a faction called the Masked Fools, who is not too relevant right now, but I just want to mention that Eon, because their entire path philosophy seems to be Lamau. Why not? So cool. Like this one time, Aha made one of their emanators a worm. A fucking worm. Like, can you just imagine all the Eons out there vying for power, and Aha's just there in the corner like, she turned into a worm. Funniest shit I've ever seen. The Ceron Hunters are back at it again, this time sending in Firefly, who has a sad backstory because she has space cancer or some shit, but most importantly, she takes you on a date. A date. And then she ended up crashing top-up services and breaking every revenue record Star Rail had on release. Like, come on, guys. Are we such simple creatures? Are we just that easy to manipulate? Why are you showing footage of my Firefly? And all these different factions gather together on Penacony because Penacony is run by a group called The Family. That's run by a man named Gopher Wood who has 2 adopted children in Sunday and Space Taylor Swift. And their security is run by Gallagher right here. Finally, Star Rail adding a proper daddy to their roster.
I'm 13.
Goddamn. My boy's aging at the speed of light. And their history ties right into the founding and main storyline of Penacony. Because before Penacony was this luxury vacation spot, it was a barren desert with a rather embarrassing leakage problem. Because it was leaking Memoria. What is Memoria? It's memory cum. Alright, if you want a more detailed explanation, Memoria is this substance that serves as a vessel for human memories and consciousness that seems to be some sort of physical manifestation of memories or mental energy that can sometimes gloop together in high concentration and can have a negative impact if a normal human is exposed to it for too long. It's memory cum. So the IPC sees this and thinks, money. Turning Penacony into a prison planet where they send all their prisoners to help fix the memorial leaks. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I was meant to be mining, I think. Yes, everyone thought Penacony was meant to be Vegas, but think about it. Former prison colony, barren deserts, pokies everywhere you look. This is fucking space Australia. Eventually, the prisoners spend so much time around Memoria that they begin losing their absolute dicks and they start to enter a shared dream world, like the ultimate VR gamers in a shared server. Now, what do all gamers dream of doing together? That's right. rising up. They rise up against the IPC, take back the planet, and of course this is the perfect time for a Stellaron to come in and be like, "Why, hello there. Allow me to introduce myself." With the planet in utter chaos, this is when Shipe, the Eon of Harmony, descends down and tells them, "Yes, it is I, the Eon of Harmony. Can you, like, stop being so not harmonious and stuff?" Nice rack! So Shipe helps the prisoners integrate into the family. They split up into 7 different factions, which eventually becomes 5, giving them control over Penacony with no more IPC. Yay! We did it, guys! We beat capitalism! And so then the family thinks to themselves, wait guys, hear me out, crazy idea. What if we turn this shared dream world into a commercialized vacation spot where all the rich people spend all their money, and we can even throw this big festival called the Charmony Festival where we only invite the most important people from around the universe to attend. Yay! Capitalism! Yay! Now as followers of the Harmony, a path all about getting along well with each other through mutual trust and cooperation, you'd think the family would be just a bunch of chill dudes. Well, that would be the case if the leader wasn't secretly getting his dick wet for another Eon. See, Eons might seem like these immortal, everlasting, godlike beings, but they can actually be slain, and some of them can even be absorbed into other Eons, which is exactly what happened to Enna, the Eon of Order. Now, Enna is all about controlling the masses through strict oppressive means to maintain order. She is the final form of your Asian mum when you tell her you're getting an art degree. But like every good Minecraft YouTuber, bitch just became irrelevant, and eventually Shipe came along and assimilated Enna inside of her, which is essentially an Aeon getting bored to death. I don't know why I wrote that sentence. But unfortunately for Penacony, this Asian mum is the Eon that the head of the family secretly follows. They don't want the new hotness. They want old and busted. And so the head of the family comes up with this plan to resurrect Enna and leaves it to his adopted son, Sunday, to enact it. Now, Sunday is a man with a strong personal philosophy. He just wants everyone to be happy, even if the happiness comes from sheltering people from the harsh realities of the world by force. And he thinks this way because he saw a bird once. Okay, well, there we go. All right, I'll leave you for a second. We'll come back to him. He wants to activate the Stellaron, putting Penacony into a permanent dream world where people can't wake up from it. It will be a perfect paradise with no conflict, no pain, no suffering, and no illness, where people are completely unaware that it's a dream. Oh, he's the bad guy, right? Oh, I'm sorry, free will. People don't get free will. Yay for free will. I always choose free will.
So great.
My TikTok scrolling session, mindlessly fed videos I didn't choose, finding my life increasingly dictated by algorithms.
Yay!
Yeah, because if there was one thing Sunday didn't account for, it was us, the Trailblazer. Because we turn up to the final battleground because he's still talking about the bird. Let's give him a minute, I'm sure he's almost finished.
8 hours later.
To fashion a cage for it.
Oh, because we turn up to the final battleground because a little birdie wants to, oh, for fuck's sake. And this all culminates in one of the most hyped moments of the game so far, where we take on this heavily mechanical conductor thing while fucking Space Taylor Swift sings in the background and we throw a goddamn train at it. Yes, we beat the final boss by driving a fucking train into it.
Let's go!
It was fucking beautiful. Look guys, all I'm saying is, I'm not an Idol fan. But in the aftermath, the IPC come back and acquire some shares of Penacony, which somehow ends in us getting 5%, which, I mean, yay, capitalism! And then Black Swan hitches a ride with the Astro Express along with the newly reformed Sunday as well. All right, Sunday, I know you just tried to take over Penacony, but we're cool with that. We're cool. I can forgive that. Just, if you're gonna be here, can you just not talk about any birds? Is that cool? Are you cool with that? All right. Let's fly off to our next destination. This brings us to our final stop so far and Star Rail's most ambitious story yet. Amphorius. Now, at the time of writing this, Amphorius' arc is not currently finished, so we're not going to get too heavy into spoilers, so I'll just give you a basic overview of what this world is about. Welcome to the world of God of War. In space, a world themed about the Greek mythos that nobody knows anything about. It's so shrouded in mystery that even Akavili did not visit this place when he was trailblazing around the universe. Come on, Akavili, mate, get with it. How the fuck do you miss this place? And the only reason we know anything about it is because of Black Swan. Remember when we said we'd come back to her? Well, Black Swan is a member of the Garden of Recollection, and they follow the Eon Fuli, the Eon of Remembrance. This path is all about preserving memories and keeping records of everything that's happened so no one forgets anything, which is useful for anyone over the age of 30. Because if you've been paying
Also, crazy lore drop. Fully is dead.
Close attention, you may notice that every world's been themed around a certain path. We've gone from preservation to abundance to harmony, and now we are here at Remembrance. We even get our own remembrance powers by adopting this cute little pink feline called Mem, who stays with us on our journey and constantly talks in our ears. And wait a minute. Oh no.
Oh no.
This is getting out of hand.
Oh no.
Now there are two of them. But what is this world all about? Well, remember at the start of the video when I said try not to be intimidated by the amounts of eons out there? Well, apparently that wasn't enough information because Amphorius has its own godlike beings that are not eons or emanators. They're called Titans, and they created the world of Amphorius. And there are 12 of them. Oh god, by the end of this game, I swear, Star Rail's gonna have more mythology than actual mythology. Alright, lock in gang, because I'm going to go over this pretty quickly. War and death to the planets.
Nice.
Alright, you get all that? No? No one was listening? Well, that's okay, because unless you actually want a deep dive on how each Titan story ties into the world, all you really need to know is that all of these Titan came from these things called core flames that was given to Amphorius by an even higher god. Who is this higher god? I don't know. I'll never tell. XOXO, Gossip Girl. I don't actually know. The most notable Titan you should be aware of, though, is Kefle, the world-bearing Titan, who created the humans of this world and is the site of humanity's last stronghold. Because everything was chill until the Black Tide came along and fucked everything up. Wait, it's the Black Tide this time and not a Stellaron? That can't be right. Stellaron! Stellaron! Where are you? I know you're hiding somewhere here, you son of a bitch! The Black Tide is this mysterious corrupting force that turns people into fucking fent-out tweakers. It destroyed multiple cities and turned several of the Titans mad. And so, to avoid corruption, Kefle just goes, dun 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 dun, fucking blue screens himself, but not before bestowing a prophecy upon humanity. 12 chosen heroes with golden blood will appear, strong enough to defeat the Titans and take their core flames, ascending to become demigods. Only then will humanity come to a new era of prosperity. I don't know why I said come. These heroes will be known as the Amphorius 5-star units. All the Chrysal says. And that's the basic premise of Amphorius. We go around kicking the shit out of the Titans with the Chrysal airs, jacking their core flames, and letting Hoyoverse spend their budget on these very beautiful alt animations. You have Tribios, who despite her looks is already a demigod, along with Aglaia, who has the core flame of the Titan of Romance. And all I'm saying is, she can romance me any what? There's Castris, who is
Dead.
She's okay. Nothing much to say about her story, actually. And of course, you have Mighty and Finon. Mighty, who is an Angie boy, who I swear to God is trying to compete with Sung Jin Woo for Aura Farmer of the Year. And then you have Finon, who is a good boy. The goodest of boys. And he goes through a lot. Together they make a great team, except they would do if they weren't bitter rivals who compete in absolutely everything they do. But guys, it's actually really early because they actually care about each other and they're just trying to bring out the best in each other because they're the best of friends, but they would never admit that because they're bitter rivals. You know, I would say now kiss, but I'm pretty sure they already kiss each other goodnight. And that's the setup for Amphorius in a nutshell, which is the bare bones surface level explanation for all the things hiding underneath this world. I will say there have been some developments in the overarching story arc, but what I will say is that compared to previous arcs, the setup and execution is actually far more straightforward than what we've seen in Star Rail before. We are just over halfway through the story arc right now, and I will say, as an aside, it is actually shaping up to be my favorite Star Rail story arc and world so far. I don't need that. And of course, that leads us to the final development in the Honkai Star Rail universe, the fated crossover with Fate Stay Night's Unlimited Blade Works. I see what he did there. We fucking did it, guys! I don't know how, but it actually happened. Now, this storyline isn't like all the previous storylines we covered. This is more of a side story. Think of it as a beach episode with no beach and just a holy grail. We head back to Penacony, where one of the heads of the families, Oti, was messing around, where he just stumbles upon a holy grail. But not just any holy grail, it is a mini holy grail. Bro, I'm lucky enough to find £5 in my pocket, and then there's this guy stumbling upon a bloody holy grail. And so he decides to host his own mini holy grail war. Now, any true Fate fan would know that the holy grail war is always held in secret with no way for the public to know. But this one is different. Oti holds a public Holy Grail war, and I assume charges people more than your average influencer boxing match to watch the bloodbath unfold. 4 summoned famous people from Penacony, where some of them mess up and accidentally summon some familiar faces from a different universe. Wait, wrong universe, wrong universe! As one of the masters, the Trailblazer accidentally summons the King of Knights themselves. Saber. Adventurine somehow summons Archer. And of course, Boot Heel gets our favorite son of a nice lady, Lancer, who is alive. And Berserker's master and servant is Oti? He's Berserker's Star Rail's master and servant? Well, we have Berserker right over there. And that's it. The collaboration is out right now, so whether you're a Fate fan or a Star Rail player or you're both, go get it while you can, gamers. And that completes my very quick rundown of Honkai Star Rail. Look, this game has only been out for about 3 years, and I'm not gonna lie, there is so much lore and so much story to go through that I had to cut a ridiculous amount out of some of these worlds. This was all meant to just be a very basic introduction into the entire world and story of Star Rail, and even then, it somehow is even longer than my Fate video. So if you want to get the full picture, there are already some very talented content creators covering this topic, or you know what? You can just go play the game yourself, because while this is the short version, I will categorically say this now, that there will never be a long version from me.
Never.
But who knows what the future holds.
Who knows?
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Once again, thank you very much to Hoyoverse for sponsoring today's video. You can check out the Honkai Star Rail Fate collab right now by clicking that link in the description to check it out for yourself. But guys...
But yeah, no. That was the history, the lore. Hold on. I want to bring up one more. It was a cutscene when I was playing. I don't think I showed you guys Finon's cutscene. We're gonna watch one more little short. Cause yeah, no. This trailer was hype as fuck. It was hype as fuck, and I loved it. This fucking one? Yeah, I know I definitely showed you and Grim. I just couldn't remember if I showed it on stream or not. Go, Wiper, go. Go, Wiper, go. You already know. You already know what's in store.
Are you ready, Nanook?
Nanook.
I brought you destruction!
Smash. God damn. Oh my god. Oh. Dead. Go away, my god, go away, my god. Dead. He's dead. Don't wipe my god! Don't wipe my god! Brad's daddy Manook. Oh! Did he do that? Dead. Smash. Double dead. Dead. Oh.
My wish? My wish is to fulfill everyone else's wishes. If I can't fulfill them, then send them on to tomorrow.
Alright. I think I am sufficiently traumatized, y'all. What do y'all think? Traumatized enough?